Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. You are going to see this video with I, and all I can tell you is that these people know what they are doing, because for the fact that a white woman, is out here trying to justify the reason why there is need for them to have a white community, and why is it that when they do their own, black people are complaining? And I am going to ask, how do you want to compare a black community and community? It means you do not know your history and you do not understand what is also happening in your own community or around you. Because last I checked, you never see my own people waking up to come against you. When I say come against you, you definitely will understand what I am saying, just that I don't want to mention it, right? But black people wake up every day to from them. Right? And somebody is out here telling me that why is it a problem? It is a problem because people that look like me cannot go to a place like a sundown town. And what you all are building is building a sundown town in a broad daylight and telling us that you are building a sundown town, that it is going to be called community. It is a community where you want to preserve your culture. And I am asking, what particular culture are you preserving? Because the last time I checked, I can't remember seeing anything. You all went around stealing spies that you never used even. So what are you trying to? Let's get into this video.
Ever noticed that when black people build an all-black neighborhood, it's called empowerment? But when white people build an all-white neighborhood, all of a sudden they're the triple K.
Ah, Red X01, is this you? And all this build up in your video is for you to compare Freedom, Georgia to the whites only town being created in Arkansas. And you want to talk about hypocrisy. Well, I could tell by the videos on your page that nature and your inbred family tree have already conspired to give you 12 reasons. Allow me to share these uncomfortable truths with you, and hopefully you could find the 13th. Let's get it. First, Red, I do understand that when you have a reef as a family tree, the reading and comprehension genes probably skip generations at a time. And me giving you this information, you're probably not the one with the reading comprehension gene. Maybe you can run along and go find them. First, the hypocrisy of you talking about the hypocrisy of black people creating black neighborhoods is not missed on the historical narrative, because black neighborhoods were literally created in this country and in all oppressed countries by the oppressor class. Yeah, by law, as a matter of fact. The segregation of black people in this country has been codified in law stretching back to pre-slavery time, post-slavery time, all the way up into the black laws and Jim Crow. And you're going to mention something about reverse Jim Crow in your video, but reverse Jim Crow required that we have access to federal laws to make it so. I don't expect you to understand the damn thing I just said, but moving right along.
You want to move away from white people because it's healing, but when we do the same thing, all of a sudden it's a problem.
What exactly are you all healing from? Healing from the fact that a 400-year head start has created a wealth disparity in this country that is not just prevalent, but overwhelming, as $1 million wealth gap now divides white families from black and Hispanic ones? That's what you're healing from? Wait. Are you all healing from a criminal justice system that disproportionately affects people because of the color of their skin? Wait a minute. You all created that justice system. Oh, wait a minute. I got another one. Wait a minute. Maybe you all are healing from a medical apartheid system that disproportionately negatively impacts black and brown people to the point that black women are 3.5 to 4 times more likely to die in childbirth because of that system. Is that what you're healing from? Or maybe you all are healing from... You know what? I could do this all day. But I digress. Continue.
problem. Sounds like the real problem isn't segregation. It's the fact that you're not the one controlling it. Y'all don't want equality. Y'all want reverse Jim Crow.
And there it is. Segregation and Jim Crow and who controls it. Yeah, she did fix her mouth to say that in the same 3-second span. Like the civil rights movement in this country wasn't about ending and outlawing legal segregation. And who was in control at that time? Oh, and by the way, oh yeah, did I mention redlining and how it was used to control and segregate black neighborhoods? Redlining can be defined as discriminatory practices that consist of the systemic denial of services such as mortgage, insurance loan, and other financial services to residents of certain areas based on their race and ethnicity. Yeah, did I? If I didn't, here it goes. But keep going, Red. Keep going.
Crow. So when white people move in, it's gentrification. When they move out, it's called white flight.
Ah, Red, if you just had a lick of comprehension, you might see how white flight and gentrification work hand in hand. Because gentrification is the process in which you go into an urban neighborhood and you develop it and you take it from a low value neighborhood to a high value neighborhood in a relatively short amount of time. The problem with that is that the neighborhood's original residents are often displaced because of the rising prices of cost of living and rent in that area. And white flight is the term given to the process in which white people fled those same neighborhoods that they're now moving back in to gentrify because they didn't want to be around black and brown people. And now the flip side of that, gentrification is now pushing black and brown people out of those areas because they can't afford it. So there is that. But continue. And we're just getting to the meat of your video.
Wonder where all this energy was for Freedom, Georgia. These people don't want to live next to white people, but the second we make our own communities, then it's hate. Black-only schools are okay, apparently. Black-only neighborhoods is progress. Black-only events is culture. But the second it's white-only anything, these people just want to run, cancel it, burn it down.
Now, before I get to the Freedom Georgia initiative and what you're missing intentionally about it, it's interesting that you talked about burning towns down, because I would like to see your historical narrative where black people have burned predominantly white towns down, or white neighborhoods down to the ground, and we'll compare it to my list. On my list, I have Tulsa, Rosewood, Elaine, Arkansas, and countless others. But just going to leave this right here for your non-comprehension ass to look over and not have a clue what I'm talking about. Moving on to where your comparison between the Freedom Georgia initiative and an all-white town being created in Arkansas. And you would think before anybody started that subtle, passive-aggressive, racist rant to justify their racism and bigotry, they would have taken the time to go to the Freedom Georgia Initiative page and say, let me see the part where they're excluding white people. You would have saw them talk about economic empowerment, healing from racial trauma, building our own communities. But how are they going to build that community? By being welcoming. Yeah, welcoming. If you had some reading comprehension, you would have gotten to that part in the Freedom Georgia Initiative. We welcome all allies. I know you don't know what that word means any more than you know what BIPOC means. But we welcome all allies of BIPOC and corporations that wish to build meaningful relationships with communities of color to connect with us for doing good. Doing good. Not to create a town that if it existed during the creation of the Green Book, that it would have been in the Green Book as a warning for what towns black people should avoid because they were sundown towns. That white-only sundown town being created in Arkansas is not anything new for this country. As a matter of fact, it's indicative of the history of this country. You can go to this database, historical database of sundown towns, and you can hit Arkansas right there. You can go, it's interactive. You can go to this database and hit Arkansas, and you will get a list of towns from A, D through H, H to N, and P to W of sundown towns in Arkansas that town is going to fit in with just nicely. Just remember also that the black schools, black colleges, and all you talk about were created because black people weren't allowed to participate in your white schools and your white colleges for hundreds of years. And it's no surprise that an initial review found nothing illegal in a proposed whites-only community in Arkansas. Nothing. But if you're going to talk, at least get your facts right. But what do we expect? When you have a wreath for a family tree. Now, you run along, have the day you deserve, and I am going to challenge my followers to tell me what is my favorite number when dealing with racists and bigots. See you in the comment section.
When black people build an all-black neighborhood, it's called empowerment. But when white people build an all-white neighborhood, all of a sudden they're the Triple-K. You want to move away from white people because it's healing.
Yeah, I noticed that too. You know, it's funny you say that because it's true. Yeah, white people had an all-white community. Yep, sure did. They didn't want black folks there. They went above and beyond to let black folks know they weren't wanted. Seriously. So much that they would patrol said community in white sheets. Patrolling said community at night, finding black folks just moseying, minding their business so they can create tree ornaments. They went as far as to create signs reminding black folks in said communities and surrounding areas that the sun bet not land on their ass. These later became known as sundown towns. So yes, all white communities have been rooted in bigotry and racism and hatred towards everything that isn't white. It's actually in the history books. This is why when that song Small Town came out, it was a problem because small towns have been synonymous with exactly what you're talking about. So black folks got the picture. They understood the assignment. They moved away, created their own community, thriving communities too. And it wouldn't be long till white folks come to infiltrate by way of booze, narcotics, lying white women, saying black men raped them so mobs of white folks can come and burn down said community. Rosewood, that's in the history books. Or black folks move away, create their own community, a bustling economy. The black dollar never left said community, and they left people alone, creating generational wealth. And then one day they look in the sky and planes are firebombing critical infrastructures, burning down the whole community. Black folks lost everything. So under the banner of empowerment, we still wasn't able to be accepted because of white people. So while you're sitting up here spinning this narrative, understand what you're saying is true. And this isn't an opinion. This is annotated in American history. Our history. History you refuse to see because it's embarrassing. But that's just how the cookie crumble. I say get a pint of ice cream, mix it in there. It tastes better. Reminding black folks in said communities and surrounding areas that the sun bet not land on their ass. These later became known as sundown towns. So yes, all white communities have been rooted in bigotry and racism.
Every single black creator who stitches me does the same thing. They all fall into this twisted, cherry-picked version of history to excuse what's happening in their community right now. A white couple gets jumped at a jazz festival, and what do? Knock a woman unconscious. Then they complain when white people leave and say it's rooted in racism. Oh, because then they're the triple K, but when the black people do it, then it's empowerment. But when white people did it, y'all screamed hate crime before the first house was ever even built. And no, people are not leaving neighborhoods today because of some ghost in a white hood. They're leaving because they don't want their kids to grow up around boarded up stores, crime alerts every 5 seconds, and then they'll proceed to throw around Tulsa like it was some random hate crime. But then they'll forget that Red Summer happened before it. Not every building burned was started by white people. Don't get to ignore all the others because it doesn't fit your narrative. Let's not sit here and act like we're waiting for some guy in a white sheet to come and rob us at night while we're pulling money out the ATM. It's typically the black hoodies. Ever notice that when black people build an all-black neighborhood, it's called empowerment? But when white people build an all-white neighborhood, all of a sudden they're the triple K.
That's usually because it is the triple K. I don't know if you've looked at the requirements for those communities, but they do seem very specific. You don't have any black nieces or nephews, do you? So you don't know that the scariest time for black parents is when their son or daughter gets their driver's license, especially their son's driver's license. And it wasn't until then that I realized why a lot of black people do not want to be around white people. It's not because they don't like white people. It's because they fear for their own safety. And I'm ashamed to admit that I didn't realize that until my nephews got their driver's license. Because I didn't want them out either. I wanted them home with their parents or in their community where they were safe. And you talk about black people building their own communities. When black people do that, they do it for their own safety. They do it because they don't feel they have a choice. And history has shown us repeatedly that if those black communities become too prosperous, white people will burn it to the ground. Again, everybody talks about Rosewood, Tulsa, and Wilmington. That's what happened. White people want to build their own communities. They do it because of hatred and a sense of supremacy. These places that are building these whites-only communities also don't allow Jews either, or Latinas, or indigenous people, and probably everybody else. It's slightly darker than a grocery bag. And this message is not for the person who I'm stitching or whatever. They're a lost cause. This is for everybody else who I think needs to know the difference. Well, anyway, this has been Doc for Diesel Punk Industries. Thanks for watching, and as always, Crunchy White, pimp forever.
Ever notice that when black people build an all-black neighborhood, it's called empowerment? But when white people build an all-white neighborhood, all of a sudden they're the triple K.
That's usually because it is the triple K.
I don't know about you, but I don't wait for the triple K to come and rob me while I'm pulling money at the ATM. Not to mention you proved my entire point with this video. When black people build their own communities, suddenly it's empowerment, even though they're supposedly fearing for their lives. Even when statistically they are far more likely to be unalived by another black person. Oh, but when white people do it, they're the triple K. So let me get this straight. They're the cause of all the issues, but then you don't want them to leave.
Don't have any black nieces or nephews, do you? So you don't know that the scariest time for black parents is when their son or daughter gets their driver's license, especially their son's driver's license.
I don't have any black nieces or nephews. Sorry, that has nothing to do with the argument. If the scariest part is their kid getting a driver's license, then that says more about you than them. I don't see white kids having this talk from their parents, even though they get detained more. This isn't about fear. This is about excuses.
White people want to build their own communities. They do it because of hatred and a sense of supremacy.
You mean when they want safety and less crime, that's supremacy? Funny how when every other group wants a tight-knit community, it's called culture. But when white people do it, it's a threat. You don't hate supremacy. You hate when white people opt out of the chaos. And all of a sudden, they're the triple K.
That's usually because it is the triple K. You are clearly unfamiliar with my work. I live in a town, Greensboro, North Carolina, where I am a minority. The largest HBCU, North Carolina A&T, and the nation's first HBCU for women, Bennett College, is just down the road from me. The majority of my friends are black and they teach at North Carolina A&T. They are computer scientists, nurses, engineers. They have welcomed me into their home and treated me like family. Almost every single black person in this town has been nothing but kind to me. So when you're spewing all this racist bullshit about black people, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Well, anyway, this has been Doc for Diesel Punk Industries. Thanks for watching, and as always, Crunchy White, pimp forever.
This is all I got from this video, and I am going to say something. Why is it that white people actually do not know their history, or they are pretending not to know their history? Because we can be talking about the same thing every day. Now, let me take this opportunity to enlighten you a little bit more. Why am I saying this? I am saying this because how can a white woman come out to tell me that it's okay for black people to have a black community, like a black own everything, black community and all that, but it is not okay for white people to have a white community? The white community that they are building, what are they building the white community for? Because this country is already all about them. So why do they have to build another community where, like, where they said it is just for us, so we can monitor the people that come into the community? We just need a safe space for us, for our culture. What particular culture are you talking about? When I hear things like this, all I want you to know is that it's just a race to the seas rhetoric that they always spew. Because this is an avenue for them to know or to do what they know how to do best. Because for me, if you ask me anything that got to do with a white-owned community, all I can tell you is that it's just all about unaliving, right? Because they are building it it's a sundown town. You cannot tell me that it is not a sundown town. Because it is expected that people that look like me are not supposed to go there. So what are we talking about? How do white women mount their cameras and feel very comfortable to come out on camera to tell people that they are actually racist and they are actually supporting racism? Because now she is giving us the green, not even red, the green card. Let me say it is a green card that she is giving you. It's either you believe me, or when you said do not make excuses for them, you knew real good what you were saying. So she is now comparing black community to white community. You all know that anything that got to do community is all danger. Danger. Do not cross. Or do you want me to mention people that look like me, the ones that I remember, that were disembarked in a town that they know nothing about? Man, it's 2025. There are some certain things people shouldn't be doing. They might think they are not ignorant. Sometimes I feel like they are being, but sometimes I also know that majority of them are very silly and do not know anything too. So sometimes I wait both ways. Are they trying to bait me? They are just mad people that also want to, tell you that they are okay with having an all-white community. Why do you need who are you protecting from? Just like telling me why do they not have History Month? What do you want to tell about History Month? What? I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but each day that passes by, you still get to understand that majority of them are really dumb and that they actually need to go back to school. I won't say the school failed them, because when you go through school, you allow school to also go through you. It's like, two-way thing. So which one are you doing? Or you just going through school and you're not letting school go through you? Or you are just being dumb for dumb's sake? But yeah, this is where I'm going to draw my curtain. But you guys can just take a chill pill and stop setting yourselves up and stop thinking that people that look like me will fall into the trap you were about to say, because you and I know that it's a trap. All white community. Get the F out of here. Bye for now.